Amigos de Agente 305, nos acompaña el de día de hoy, Jared Shoemaker, quien representa Pocket Aces Racing. Jared, it's such a pleasure to have you here in Agente 305, Agent 305, if you want to say it in correct English. First of all, thank you for your time and have this chance to talk a little bit more and learn a little bit more about Pocket Aces Racing.
I appreciate you having me, and we spent a little time together the last couple of days. You were kind enough to join our podcast the other day, so certainly appreciate that, and thank you for returning the favor. Glad to be here.
It is a pleasure. It was a wonderful ride to be part of the podcast. I would say very much looking forward to it, and we're very happy to have you here. Pocket Aces Racing. Tell me first, where did the idea come from?
So my partner in Pocket Aces Racing is Mark Wampler. Mark and I have known each other since high school. We were lifeguards together for the Lexington Parks and Rec department in high school. We were
Oh,
fraternity
wow.
brothers in college, so we've known each other a long, long time. And when we got out of when we graduated from University of Kentucky, um, Mark went out to Colorado for about 6 months and worked out there, and then he came back and he started shoveling stalls at Calumet Farm. I went on to grad school, and you know that's so we kind of drifted a little bit apart there. Remained in contact all the time because I moved about 2 hours away. My wife is from a small town in northeastern Kentucky, so moved up there, and then about 20 years ago. We were together, a bunch of us together, Mark, some of our other buddies and roommates and fraternity brothers, and we were playing Texas Hold'em, playing a game of cards, and Mark is telling us about this client because he had gone on, left Calumet Farm and gone on to work, at a variety of different positions and for different companies and folks in the industry, and then had gone out on his own as a bloodstock agent. So he's telling us about this horse that he had bought. I think it was an Eastern Echo, maybe something like that. A horse that he'd bought for like $3,000 for one of his clients, and they sent it up to Charlestown, West Virginia, and it went through all its conditions and won like $120,000. And he's like, we should do something like this. Like, oh, that sounds fun. So, this would have been like in August, middle of August. And so I got on the phone with some friends, family. He got on the phone with some of his clients. And we came up with like $35,000, and we went and bought a Victory Gallop yearling at the Keeneland sale. And that following September, she ran her first race with Jeff Runco up at Charlestown Races and Slots, and she won by about 10 lengths. And we thought, well, this is easy. We need to do this. We need to do more of this. And but what was so neat about it was we had a lot of people that they were fans of racing. Some of them. We had one guy that I worked with. He'd never been to a horse race. He'd never bet on a horse race. He was a gambler, and he thought, well, that sounds kind of fun. I'll do that. And he turned into a guy that opened up an express bet account, and he became a regular everyday handicapper.
Wow.
So it's just we just had such a good experience with it, and for so many of the people, outside of Mark's regular clients that were with us, so many of our friends that we grew up with are here around Lexington, fraternity brothers, people that I worked with up in Portsmouth, Ohio. I was in an college athletic department up there. So they just loved it, and Mark and I thought, what, we need to formalize this, and we set out to do that. And then the next fall, we bought our second horse, and then the year after that, our third horse, and we just kind of gradually moved on. And then our fourth year, we bought a couple here and based them here because the first three all went to Charlestown. And after that, we moved some horses. We bought some that stayed in Kentucky, and that's kind of when things started to change. But yeah, we started out. It'll be 20 years ago next year that we bought our first horse. So 20 years ago next September. So we're coming up on our 20th anniversary.
That's wonderful. And where did the name come from? From those Texas Hold'em experiences?
Best starting hand in Texas Hold'em is Pocket Aces. So that's where it came from. We're your best starting hand in racing.
Unbelievable. So this is a racing syndicate that has been provided with the idea of deliver affordable opportunities for individuals to be part of this amazing industry as it is horse racing. What would you say it's the big the differentiation, if you may say so, of what Pocket Aces offers to any potential and their current like partners?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing when Mark and I decided to formalize this, we got on the phone and we started calling people in the industry. We called Terry Finley at West Point, and when we started this, there weren't very many people doing what we do. There was Dogwood Stables, West Point, Team Valor, maybe one or two others that I don't know that are around anymore. So there weren't a whole lot of other racing syndicates in business at the time. So anyway, we get on the phone, we call his clients, other people that, just names that we've been given, different farm owners, and just told them what we were thinking about doing and just asked their thoughts. And, where are the loopholes, the potholes in the industry? What do we need to do to set ourselves apart? And the number one thing we heard was communication. Too many complaints of communication just across the board, from trainers to owners to vets to everybody. And so we decided right then and there to make communication our number one and main priority. And, kind of our philosophy is what we know about the horses, you're going to know about the horses because they're your horses. So that's one. Obviously there's some of the micro share groups that are out there today. I think they've been really good to introduce people into ownership. But just by their nature, it's difficult for the people involved to really get an up close and personal experience with the horses, or to be with the group on race day, or go out and see the horses at the barns and the training centers. There's challenges just because there's so many of those folks. We're gonna make time for you to see your horses, as long as it's not interfering with the training schedule. And if you want to see the horse, just give us a call, or shoot me a text. Hey, I'd like to come on, Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock if that works. And maybe we have to fudge that time a little bit to make it work with the trainer or the farm. But if you want to see your horse, you're going to get to see your horse. If we have one racing, you're going to get to be with the group on race day. We want it to be an experience as a group. And most of our horses, we have 10 to 30 people in on any horse, so it's not like they're big huge groups, but we also have small enough pieces that that's pretty accessible for a lot of folks. Again, I know it's not everybody can afford it, but we try to make as many opportunities for as many different people as we possibly can to be a part of this game and experience what ownership is like. I mean, from the time I was 6 years old, I remember going to the races, and we came from my father was a civil engineer, my mother taught, and so it's not like so I had a pretty good youth growing up, and but the thought of owning a racehorse was not something that ever entered my mind, because even when we started this 20 years ago, it's extremely expensive, and it's not something I ever thought I would do. And I can tell you that our first race was one of the most amazing experiences that I've ever had, outside of my kids being born. I just remember just watching that and watching that race unfold. And I'm like, oh my goodness, we're going to win this race. This is incredible. And after the race, we're all sitting there talking about going, she's a 2-year-old filly. We're going to go to the Oaks, and this is great. Excitement you get. But it's just, it provides an opportunity that most people otherwise wouldn't be able to have. It's expensive to own a racehorse. Most people can't do it on their own. So we try to provide that experience and that opportunity for as many people as we can.
So as an understanding, each horse has between 20 to 30 owners or share partners. Would that mean that since it is lower, it is more costly, or what's the balance there?
Yeah, so we do things a little bit different on costs. I mean, obviously, we keep a small percentage for ourselves. We have to, somebody's got to be the tax managing partner and all that stuff. But one thing that we do is that is different than anybody else. We do our expenses at a capped rate. So if you own 5% of a horse, the most that you're ever going to pay is $800 every 3 months. We bill quarterly, January 1, April 1, July 1, and October 1. And you're never going to pay more than $800 if you own 5% of one of our horses. That's it.
Okay.
We've been doing this for a long time. We got a pretty good idea of what it's going to cost us. If they have a injury and they end up having surgery and they have a little time off, that's obviously going to result in lower day rate when they're at the farm. So that kind of offsets that vet bill that they get. So, it all kind of, we're able to work it together or, make it work out. So that's one other benefit. If you own the smallest piece is 1.25%, it's $200 every 3 months. Now, obviously, that we've had to raise that. It started out a lot lower, but when we raise it periodically as we need to. But that's just one thing that that makes it a little more affordable, and there's no surprises. It's clearly in the partnership agreement. This is the max that you're ever going to pay, and so we try to keep expenses down that way. We try to keep keep surprises from happening. And the horses, we've got 4 yearlings right now that are available, and I think they start off around, I think the least expensive is around $1,100 for the smallest piece, and up to as much as you want to get.
Perfect. How is that? Now that we're talking about the pieces, the horses itself, how is the process? How does Pocket ACES evaluate? This is the kind of horse that I envision it will be the perfect buy for all our partners.
Right. Mark Wampler is, like I said, he's our partner in this. He's a bloodstock agent. He's been buying and selling people horses for 30 years. And he's the main person that does that. Obviously we seek input from our trainers. Brendan Walsh gets a large number of our horses. So when he's around, if he's around the sales, he'll look at horses with us and just kind of get second opinions. But, we've got great relationships with the folks at Silver Springs Farms. Kevin Noltmeyer runs the operation out there. He's always out at the sales, and Mark will pick his brain, and we'll look at horses together. And Dermot Littlefield, who has Fernhill Stables, has a really good eye, so he's always got an eye out. But ultimately the decision comes. June Park is another bloodstock agent. He picked out Nick's Go and Sibelius and a few other horses. So wow. June and Mark worked together a long time, and so we're always kind of networking with those people that we trust and that we know. But ultimately, the decision comes down to Mark, and he's got a really good eye. The biggest, if you look, and he's kept these stats over the years, and if you look at the numbers of some of the biggest and most well-known bloodstock agents in North America, Mark's horses, the percentage of Mark's horses that he picks out that make the races is higher. The percent that win races is higher than what they're getting. And these are the biggest names that everybody's going to recognize. And the only place they beat us is on graded stakes horses, because they just have so many more horses than we have. And that is a big difference when you get to the budgets that they're dealing with and the budgets that we're working with. The high dollar horses tend to be the ones that make the graded stakes races more often than not. So that's really the only place that we're kind of losing out to some of those big name agents that are out there buying horses for some of the big stoners in the country. And we do find ourselves buying a lot of turf horses, and I think this is kind of shifting some now, but for a long time turf horses were valued. Because people were looking for the yearling sales, especially the biggest buyers are the outside of the end users, especially those first couple of days of the sale. Most of the people buying horses on that back end of the sale are pinhookers, and they're looking for dirt horses that are going to go fast sometime the next spring. And we're very content to get a horse that's probably not going to start until late in the 2-year-old year, or maybe even early 3-year-old year, which lets us get horses for a little bit better value than what we would get if we were looking in that same pool, maybe some of the pinhookers are looking for.
And when you were mentioning Brendan Walsh, do you uniquely work with him? Do you have a pool of trainers that you work with? And what racetracks also are the ones that are gonna, you'll say these are like the headquarters of the operation for Pocket ACES? Yeah,
we're based in Kentucky. So 2 other trainers that we use a lot, or 3 other trainers that we use a decent amount. Ethan West, he's headquartered at Turfway Park. Susan Anderson's also Turfway Park. Steve Margolis, who's year-round, is who's at Churchill and then goes down to Fairgrounds. And then the horses that are with Brendan for the winter, they're either at Fairgrounds, Gulfstream, or Turfway. And then we do send horses to Saratoga with Brendan a fair amount. So primarily we're in and around Kentucky. We winter down south, and we send some horses up, north to Saratoga in the late summer. So, but that's primarily where we are. And really we're I don't know of any other partnership group, with the exception of one that's pretty small, that's based in Kentucky. And most of them are primarily tend to be based in New York. That seems to be the headquarters of most, based here in Kentucky. So
okay. Is there any specific requirement to be a partner of Pocket ACES? Either here, even like you need to be like to live in US, or you can be anywhere. What's the process there?
Yeah, so basically, we do have some foreign owners, partners, and we were happy to have folks from all over. The biggest thing is that you just have to have a U.S. tax ID number. So just for our tax filing purposes, and if you have that, then we're happy to have you join us. Other than that, I prefer to have a discussion with everybody. I get calls all the time or emails all the time. I want to invest in a racehorse. And my first comment is, well, you're not investing in a racehorse. You're gambling on a racehorse. Investment to me implies a potential return on investment. And as much as I would love to give you a return and promise you that we can make you money, the reality is that this is a very difficult sport, a very difficult industry, and most horses are going to lose money. And I just tell people all the time, if whatever money you give us to manage or to partner with our horses, you just have to expect that you're not getting any of it back. Again, that's certainly not always the case. Sometimes it is, but we hope that we're going to be able to send you money back. We hope that you're going to make money. Temple City Terror is one of our most successful horses. We bought her for $22,000. She won multiple graded stakes races. She won over almost $900,000. We sold her for $600,000. That's a home run.
Of course.
But the same year we bought her, we bought a filly for $200,000 who couldn't stay healthy. She never ran. And we haven't had very many horses that haven't run. Most of our horses, they get to the races. But sometimes, one bad step and it's, everything's it's over and there's nothing to do about it. So it's just, it's a gamble. It's an experience, and you just have to go into it with eyes wide open. So we have a partnership agreement that spells out a lot of that, and you have to sign off on everything. And really that's it. Like I said, we're primarily buying less expensive horses these days. And we used to buy a lot of six-figure horses, and we found that we were doing just as well with our $50,000 and $75,000 or even our $20,000 horses as we were doing with the really expensive horses, the six-figure horses that we were buying. So we just, we cut back on that. We every now and then we'll still do it. We just bought a 2-year-old colt out of a Tattersall's, and he just arrived here last weekend. So we spent 100,000 guineas on him. So it's not saying we won't make that stretch in certain occasions. But Brendan Walsh was involved, and his one of his good buddies from Ireland, Ted Durkin, who's a major bloodstock agent over there. He was our man on the ground over there. So so we will do it on occasion if we feel like the opportunity is right. But primarily, we're pretty content spending $25,000, $30,000, $50,000 on horses.
Definitely, and at the end of the day, the horse don't know. They are not they don't know how much they are valued. They just know that they want to run, and they have the talent to it.
That's right. Yeah, they got to have the talent, and they got to have the heart. And unfortunately, it's pretty easy to go and once you have the experience to go and look at a horse and see that conformationally he's correct, and there's nothing going on and physically that looks like he ought to be predisposed to injury, but you can't measure can't measure what's going on in here and up here, and that's really where the difference. That's what separates the good horses from the okay horses or the not great horses, more often than not.
Yeah, that is correct. What's next for Pocket Aces? What are the plans for 2025 and beyond?
Well, like I said, this is 2025 is going to be it's the 20th anniversary, so we've got some. We're gonna have some 20th anniversary logo we're working on. I'm going to try to get some 20th anniversary silks, just special silks, just for this year, and we're probably about where we want to be in terms of the number of horses that we have. We like to keep it right around 30. Mark and I have one part-time employee. And so there's no staff. Whenever you call up Pocket Aces Racing, you're getting the owners. And so we don't, again, we right around 30, maybe go up to 32, 33, maybe get down into, upper 20s, but that's where we're comfortable and where we want to be, because if we go much beyond that, we're not going to provide as much service and value as we want to provide. So we kind of keep it right in that range, but basically just horses are coming in and out all the time, and we always, so I don't know that we have a whole lot planned special for 2025. We really like our the yearlings we bought in September and October. Really excited about this 2-year-old that came over from England. He's been running great, and he's hit the board twice in 3 races. And he hadn't run on good firm ground yet, and he just looks like his running style looks like he's going to relish if he can get some good firm fast turf sometime, and can't wait to see what he does there. We've got some 2-year-olds that are going to be hitting the track, maybe a couple of them in December, certainly several of them in early in the first quarter of 2025. They've shown us a lot of promise so far, and just waiting to see what they bring once they get to the track. And a couple of them have just recently moved to the track. But really, like I said, the yearlings we bought. I think we have. What did we buy? I think we bought 11 yearlings this year, which is the most yearlings we've ever purchased. We bought some of them, a couple of them out of the digital sales. In June, bought a couple privately, and then we bought 5. We bought 5 between Keeneland September and Phasing Tipton in October. So just really anxious to they've all gotten going, and they're doing everything right in these first 6-8 weeks. Obviously, they got a long way to go, but I just can't wait to see. We got Twirling Candy, got a Munnings. We got a Silver State colt, and we love hard spun, and I think I'm hoping that Silver State can take after his father and hard spun and be a solid sire. And so we got the half brother to Irish Aces, who's our our stakes winner, one of our stakes winners, just looking for more fun and exciting races. We had a really successful Kentucky Downs meet, and I had mentioned earlier, we tend to buy a lot of turf horses because we can find value there. And after this meet, Mark and I kind of sat down and talked about it with Brendan some, and we want to be the leading owners at Kentucky Downs next fall.
That's great. I love that.
We're going to gear up, and we're going to target as many as we can to get them down on at Kentucky Downs and go after some of those big purses and see if we can. It doesn't take a whole lot of wins to be the leading owner at a 7-day meet. So, but if we could get 3 or 4, I mean, that would probably put us right there. So, that's the big goal for this year. And other than that, just get the horses out on the track and let's have a record-breaking year of wins.
100%. Thank you very much, Jared, for this time. I'm going to put here all the contact information for Jared and Pocket Aces Racing, as well as all the journeys that are still available for looking for these partners that want to be part of this 101 partnership. And I'm saying 101 because, as Jared mentioned, basically you pick up the phone and it's going to be either Jared or Mark who are going to take the call. So it's that simple. You're talking 101 with Pocket Aces itself.
That's right.
So thank you very much. Last few words.
Yeah, like I said, and that's, I just sort of jump on what you said there, because we've got partners that literally text us every day, and it's not a bothersome thing. We enjoy it. We love it because they're invested in what we're doing. They're invested in their horses, and we love having that one-on-one interaction and contact, and just because if you're not reaching out to us, then we're doing something wrong. Or so that's we want that, and we're very happy to have it. So it's just if you have you see anything you like, you have any questions about any of it, any questions about just our partnerships in general, reach out. We're available.
With Pocket ACES Racing, be more than just an anonymous shareholder, be an actual partner. Thank you, Jared, for the time. I appreciate it very much.
Appreciate it. Have a great day.